You know, that last point you made, that the Republican president could try to use this 19th century anti-obscenity law, sent me rushing to the law books today to read about the Comstock Act of 1873 and see that it is still in law. It has been sleeping there. One of those laws has been sleeping there for 100 years, more than 100 years. But that does look like a possibility for a Republican president. Wouldn't have to get anything through the Senate.
You know, that's part of the trick here, is to remember that these folks, now that Roe versus Wade has been removed by the Supreme Court, the Republicans are moving forward on every front. They figured out how Donald Trump can do this alone. They want to take over Congress, do it through Congress. But they're moving forward right now, for example, trying to ban medication abortion by getting rid of mifepristone, which is used in medication abortions, that's what about half of all abortions in the country that are still occurring use, which would ban that everywhere. Understand that. You may be living in a state that protects abortion right, but the Republicans are coming for you as well. They're coming for everybody, no matter what state they're in, to try to get a nationwide abortion ban in place, and that will be on the ballot in 2024.
You described today on the Senate floor this decades-long crusade by Republican extremists to overturn Roe versus Wade. But that crusade was also supported unflinchingly by Republican voters who seem to be more consistent in their willingness to support a nominee who they don't agree with on everything, as long as they can continue to push this particular crusade.
Yep. You know, that's the thing here, is that the majority of Americans want to see Roe versus Wade as the law of the land. Polling tends to come in between the low 60s and the high 60s, right? That the majority, the strong majority of Americans want Roe versus Wade to be the law of the land. But there is an extremist base that has worked for decades to try to change that and to try to make it so that it is politicians rather than a patient and a doctor who are making the decision about abortion. And they worked through the courts, they've worked through state government, they've worked through local government. And then Donald Trump fulfilled their wishes. He promised when he was first running in 2016 that he would only name a Supreme Court justice who came from a pre-approved list. Wink, wink, nod, nod. We all knew what that list was about. He said that he supported bans on abortion. And sure enough, he got the Supreme Court that he wanted. He has taken credit for it, as the vice president has so ably pointed out. This is on Donald Trump. This is on the Republicans. And this is why we need to fight back for abortion, but also for democracy. This is about making our voices heard. This is about saying to the Supreme Court, to a Republican extremists, that no, you don't get to take away our rights. You don't get to take away our freedom. We're going to come back. We're going to come back at the ballot box, and we're going to make sure that Roe versus Wade is law of the land. And remember this part. If we can get the House, a majority in the Senate, and keep Joe Biden in the White House, yes, please, all three of those things, we will be in a position to pass a strong version of Roe versus Wade, make it the law of the land. So we don't have to wait for another 40 years. We can fix this problem in November's election, and next January, you and I can get together, save this clip, and we will celebrate Roe versus Wade once again being law of the land.
Senator, the vice president pointed out today that when this issue gets on the ballot directly, the vice president's side wins. She said we're winning.
That's right.
She rattled off all the states in which this issue has won, and obviously had Republican support. When it's on the ballot by itself, how do you how do you put it on the presidential ballot? How do you get voters out there to realize who might be upset with President Biden about one issue or another unrelated to this? How do you get them to see this as the issue that they're voting for the president on? And how do you get them to see this as the issue they're voting for their United States senator on? Because it's the senators who confirm the judges who have done this.
That's right. It's also the senators who will vote to make Roe versus Wade the law of the land again, and those House members. You know, we've got to make those connections tight. And at the presidential level, I really think it's about contrast. What did Donald Trump do during the 4 years that he was president of the United States? He only did two things. He got rid of Roe versus Wade, and he passed a $2 trillion tax cut that mostly went to millionaires and billionaire corporations. But what has Joe Biden been out there doing? Joe Biden hasn't just talked the talk on abortion. He and Kamala Harris have walked the walk. Their administration has done everything that they can under the current constraints of law to make sure that as many people as possible have access to reproductive services. So just today, they talked about the initiatives they have to make sure that in emergency rooms, when a woman is lying there hemorrhaging, that she gets the emergency care that she needs, even in a state that prohibits abortion if abortion is what she needs. They also are out there defending mifepristone, medication abortion all around the country. They are defending contraceptives. They have made sure that those who serve in the military, if they are sent to a state that has effectively banned abortion and they need access to abortion services, that they can leave the state and get an abortion somewhere else. This administration has really gotten out there. They have walked the walk. They have demonstrated that they are committed to our freedoms, to our protection. What we've got to do is make sure everyone sees that contrast. Donald Trump wants politicians to decide who gets an abortion. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they want to make sure that that's between the patient and the doctor and nobody else.
You know, I had been thinking that as eloquent as you are on this subject and the vice president, that no one makes this case more powerfully than the women who have been victimized by these Republican laws. And so it was striking to me to see that first Biden campaign commercial of the year on this subject presented exactly that way, with a woman who has suffered directly as a result of these Republican laws.
You know, though, I want to add to your point. I think you're exactly right, Lawrence. But do keep in mind how many people we don't hear from. We don't hear from the 10-year-old girl who was raped and who became pregnant and who couldn't get the help she needed in the loving embrace of her family at home and had to be taken out of state. We don't hear from the people the mom who already has 3 kids and who can't take off time, who can't afford to travel to another state to get help. We don't hear from so many more women. I am grateful to the women who have stepped up. I think that this ad is very powerful. But when you see it, think of all the others who don't have the resources. Think of all the others whose voices are lost and yet whose rights to have the medical care that they need, whose right to make a determination over their own bodies and their own futures has been ripped away by the Republicans. And I hope everyone will get engaged in this fight, not just for those we get a chance to hear from, but from all the ones that we don't.